Hi, how's it going? Today I'm gonna talk about how the harmonic series influences you when you are playing Brazilian music. This obvious influence you in a lot of different styles, but I'm gonna show some examples. And if you don't know what is a harmonic series, basically when you play a note, for example this, you are not hearing just this note. You are hearing a complex sound formed by a lot of other notes that are sounding in different volumes, and so the join of all these notes sounds we will recognize as a note played by the piano, a G in this case. And a principle that I think it's very important for you to know, and I'm sorry if this is a little obvious to you, it's when the lower you are in the piano or in any instrument, more harmonics we can hear. And why this is this important? Because when we join notes, if they are far from the harmonic field, the harmonic series, they won't sound very good. And let's talk a little bit about it. So for example, I played a G. What are the first harmonics of G? The first harmonic will be the octave of G. The second harmonic will be the fifth, and the third will be the one or the root again. So I'm playing the root note, one octave higher, a fifth higher, two octaves higher, right? So we're gonna have a third and a fifth and a seventh. Note that these notes are form a very consonant sound for us. Octave, fifth, and so a major chord, and just after that we hear the seventh that creates a little bit of tension. Alright? And how and what's important to know this? Because when you are playing a Brazilian style, you have to behave yourself in different ways according to the harmonic series. For example, if you play a very low note, what's important if I want to play more notes? In this octave of the piano, you can just play octaves because it's the first harmonic. So you're gonna maintain a clear sound. Alright? If I try another interval, for example a fifth, it sounds it doesn't sound clear. Alright? So in this first octave, this is gonna sound good when you play in octaves. After that, in the second octave, you're gonna be able to play with clarity a fifth, that's the second harmonic. So note how the fifth works very well in this part of the piano. That's why when you have a guitar player playing in rock and roll, he will use well the power chords. And this can be used in a very good way in Brazilian music, like percussion. So be used in a very good way, like I showed. This interval of fifth happening on the second octave of the piano. The third harmonic will be again the root of the chord, so it doesn't matter to us in this case. And the third chord, the fourth note of the harmonic series, it's the third of the chord. So in this next octave we start to play thirds with clarity. So here, if I play a triad of C, for example, here I can play, it's very clear here in this octave, Alright? It sounds but not so clear as in this. This octave likes more the fifths, and this last one will use more the root of the chord, the octave of the roots. So when I'm playing, for example, in this part of the piano, if I'm playing a samba, I'm gonna use more intervals of octave, like I was showing in my lives about the samba de uma nota só, and I'm also doing improvise with just notes, just melodies, one note far from others. It works well if you do octaves, even if you are trying to do some notes of the chords. Alright? So when you play a 7, it sounds a little it doesn't sound clear, alright? But when you start playing one octave higher, the fifth starts sounding clear and good. Note how it sounds good. Octave in this situation. And fifth is in this octave. When I go upper, I'm more next to the central C. We can play more intervals where the notes are more next. So I can play more thirds, and I can play, for example, other different notes of the harmonic series. Now, for example, I'm using a seventh. That wouldn't work very well if I played an octave below. So in samba, when I'm playing samba, so here I'm answering a question that Debbie Denk told me if I am using just broken octaves in my left hand, and when I'm in the more next the central octave of the piano, I start to use more sevenths because they sound clear. So, and if I want to go the same can be used for example, this is a baião. And if I go higher, I start to play more intervals. chord of F, and I'm using B. When I'm playing B flat 7, I'm already playing the 1 and the 7th of the chord. So I'm I'm working with the harmonic series. I'm respecting. This is a very interesting trend that we can do of changing the behavior in the different octaves. For example, I'm gonna play a little bit of that biome. I changed my behavior in the first octave during more in intervals of octave. When I came a little higher, you started to hear the interval of 5th and more here interval of 7th, and when I came here I started to play more chords with more thirds, and the more next you are from the center octave, you can play clusters also, that they will sound very clear also. You can cluster, for who doesn't know, it's when you play intervals of second. So I'm playing G, A flat, B flat and C. So this can be studied for any Brazilian style. You can starting to adjust your pianist behavior according to the harmonic series. All right. Let me show you, for example, in frevo. So if I came here, in this octave I started to use chords with more notes. So here, I can use more space in the 5th, 6th. When I came here, I'm using more chords already. So so it goes, all right. And one important thing about this is the basic of harmonic series you have to know, and that is another behavior about the higher parts of the piano. When we started to do, for example, if you are doing some chord triad in the right hand here, playing with another chord, or playing with a bass, you're gonna start to sound this triad is a little bit weak comparing to this chord. So that is one solution that I think it's very interesting that many pianists use. Many of the great pianists, you can see also in the classical music this happening, that they use one note to reinforce the chord. So when I'm playing a chord, for example, I'm playing a G over the chord of C, to give a little bit of strongness to this note, I double one note. I put one octave in the bass of this triad. Another solution also is to play spaced notes, and if you use large intervals, but there is another situation that this is important question here in this octave. People sometimes want to do just chords with the right hand, and most of the cases when I'm trying to do these higher chords, I use the left hand to give strongness. For example, so let me play it. So this creates a more balance in your sound. When you play a higher chord, you have the interaction. You join the hands. All right. So your chords will sound strong. They are high, but they are strong. Use the separate hands when I'm trying to do some groove. It's a more percussive use, but to do some grooves, they sound a little bit unbalanced. So pay attention in your higher chords. If you have notes to reinforce them, they will sound very, very strong. They're very good. All right. So I think that's the basic. One other thing basic about the harmonic series, it's that you can do melodies and all the range of the piano. Melodies are welcome, they work, but the importance, the most important part of this subject, it's about when you start to join the notes. So they are going to, you have to pay attention in this. I recommend you as an exercise to see some classical music sheets. You can visit a site, for example, by the composer Ernesto Nazaré. It's Ernesto like Ernest, Nazareth, 150. It's 150 years. He search for this site and open his sheets, and you can observe in the different sheets that you're gonna find spaced notes on the lower part. And the more you go up in the treble clef, you're gonna find the notes starting to be more near, more next one to another, and in the central, in the I said about the bass clef. I'm sorry. In the bass clef, when the note's very low, you're gonna find just octaves or notes played alone. If you're gonna a little bit inside the treble clef, you're gonna find the bass clef. You're gonna find intervals of fifth. If you're gonna a little bit up, you're gonna find thirds. And after that you go to the treble clef, and you're gonna find thirds, chords made for thirds and other intervals. And when it's higher, it's upper than this F, one octave higher the central octave, you're gonna find chords reinforced. It's very common, this behavior, because it resolves a lot of problems in the balancing of the sound of the piano. Alright, so I hope I have helped you. I hope you have enjoyed this live and learned with it. And if you have more doubts, just send me. If you have doubts in how to play some specific style, just write a message for me. That will be a pleasure to me to answer you. Alright, so thanks for watching, and see you every day here in this channel, Brazilian Accent Improvisation. Bye bye.